This fake paperwork
Mm-hmm.
topic is becoming a phenomenon, and it's like a way to try to smut someone really quickly. And the reason why it's coming up again is because just recently, a dude from the north, a Norteño guy named Gunners Collective, who's known on YouTube, he presented some paperwork. He didn't create the paperwork. He got duped. He got duped into believing the paperwork, which accused American Cholo of being a child molester, of messing with a 15-year-old. And it turns out it was all a lie. And what happened was someone took the paperwork of a real guy that had the same last name as American Cholo and then changed it and put his first name on it. And presented it as his paperwork. And my question to UFG is, have you ever even, I'm talking about in the days when you was going through the system, have you ever heard of this idea of fake paperwork to smut somebody?
You know what I've heard of it? I heard people trying to type up paperwork, people trying to pass off fake paperwork, people trying to, get over on people who don't know. One thing you have to realize and understand, Alex, is everybody don't know how to read paperwork. Some people can't decipher fake paperwork from real paperwork. You know what I mean? When I was going through my situation, and my paperwork was presented online. People was talking about this was made up. 82 pages of it. You know what I mean? I could see 1 or 2 pages of it. Somebody making something up, but my shit for 82. Who the hell got the time and date? To do that. But on the flip side, yeah, people try to pass off some fake paperwork. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to read the FBI numbers that's on the paperwork, there's a certain way they write up the paperwork. Now, state and federal paperwork is different. The problem is that it's been fake paperwork passed off. Some people that lost their life has been stabbed up and then had their ass beat over fake paperwork, but for the people who do this shit, the people who try to, put this shit out there, you know what I mean? That's it. That's a fucked up situation just based on, you can get somebody hurt, with some fake shit, or just putting a jacket on somebody, period, especially when it comes to certain activities. You know what I mean? When you put a rat or a child molester jacket on somebody, bro, and it's not true, bad news travel fast. You know what I mean? So you putting people in a position where they can be hurt, and things of that nature. And, like I say, before you pass some paperwork on, go. You got so many avenues, Alex. You know what I mean? Pacer and, so many other avenues, government avenues. Man, check that shit out, man. Stop just passing fake bullshit around. It can get somebody knocked off.
Yeah, and if anyone is being accused of molesting, that's an easy thing to check, because you can go to Megan's Law website. It's a little different from, like, in your paperwork, FG. Someone was accused of ratting as a CI. Now that's a little bit more trickier to verify, right? You just can't verify a
Right.
CI. But if someone
No doubt.
accused of molesting, that could easily be verified on the website meganslaw.ca.gov. It is a very simple process. If you thought American Cholo was a Chomo, then all you got to do is put his name in the Megan's Law website and see if his photo and name is in there. As simple as that.
It's simple as that, but at the same time, you got to look at it like this too. I do believe that sometimes we get misinformation. You know what I mean? We've done it here on the show before where we've been online, seen information that we deemed or figured it has some truth to it, and it didn't. And these come from reliable sources. I think we got something one time from the Washington Post. No, it was the LA Times, and it was false information. So, we will believe that something we got out the LA Times, would be, pretty much true. So we spoke on it. And it wasn't. So I get that sometimes but when you talking about setting somebody out there, when you talking about, putting somebody, a career in jeopardy, when you talking about putting somebody's life in jeopardy, by putting some paperwork out there, I just really believe that, it should be a source of discipline to come when it deemed not to be true. You know what I mean? Because this shit is getting out of hand. These dudes is on, and I'm not pointing no finger at one dude. I'm talking about everybody on the net, man. Yeah, we can have false information on some, some information that don't harm nobody. But when you talking about some shit that'll harm somebody, homie, and calling somebody a child molester, definitely can motherfucking get somebody hurt or make me, I see Gil all the time on this show. You know what I mean? I know who American Cholo is. I spoke to him, and me and Gil done chopped it up. But had he been a real child molester, then I'd be on his ass too. You know what I mean? But so with that, like I say, I'm not saying that, if it was true, Gunner set him out, or anybody else set him out, But at the same time, man, in this situation with this paperwork, we got to check this shit thoroughly before you accuse somebody of some certain shit.
Now Gunner did go do a vid. He deleted the video and he did apologize. But when you watch the original video, it seemed like he was just celebrating. He was just so happy that he had this smut on American Cholo. And my question is, do you think an apology for putting that type of jacket on somebody is enough? Because I believe sometimes apologies just ain't enough. But
No, but see,
what about in
keep
this
going.
situation?
No, I believe that American Cholo had the right to be like, "No, we got to get down."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Straight up, homie. You tried to set me out there like that. And this one thing about this internet thing and these dudes, that's where they at. You know what I mean? These dudes is in North Carolina or in different cities and states that's not around. You know what I mean? Man, stop doing that shit because you hiding behind your computer at home, Alex. You know what I mean? I believe American Cholo got all the right in the world, and the Southsiders will get on that boy head for that, and his own people. You know what I mean? Because it could potentially bring heat. You know, um, unfortunately, they up in the north. You know what I mean? So they could never meet or bump heads or nothing like that. But us that's here in the city, Alex, that's out in the streets, I got to be mindful of what I say. Especially accusing somebody of something that they didn't do, because I'm out. I'm in the streets. You know what I mean? I bump into people all the time. So you got to be mindful with this shit, man. But if I was Gil, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'd be like, man, run that, and let it be, but Gil got all the right in the world to feel how he feel.
Now there's a guy named Jose Tejada that was born in 1943 that is accused of lewd and lascivious acts, 1992, that was in this paperwork that was floating around. And it's real paperwork, but it wasn't Gil. They just took Jorge's name off the paperwork and put Gil's name on the paperwork. Same last name, different first name, and it was as simple as that. And I think that the social media and the apps make this easy. Look, I'm gonna tell you something that I did. I took this fake paperwork and I put it through a program to find out how it was manipulated. And one of the creators of whoever doctored it, the creator was Instagram. So that means someone used Instagram's editing tool to change out
Mm.
names. And I think that, let's say
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, if you wanted to make fake paperwork, you needed to have like the best software. You had to have Photoshop on your computer. You need to know how to manipulate the text. But today,
Right,
you can
right.
just do this on your cell phone. You could literally pull up an image on your cell phone, delete what you want to delete, add in what you want to add in using either Instagram or some of these other apps. And I think we're going to continue to see people trying to smut their people's names with fake paperwork.
No doubt, Alex. But see, the problem, what's going to happen is it's going to be so much fake paperwork out there that when the real paperwork come through, nobody's going to believe it. You know what I mean? I saw that firsthand, man. When real paperwork, when they put that paperwork on the street, homie, and it just people didn't want to believe it because they believed in who they believed in. You know what I mean? To this day, with all the different factors that was involved, some people still don't want to believe it. So that's what's going to make it bad. So then it's going to make it where paperwork is obsolete, because they already been stopped letting paperwork into the system. They arrayed your cell to try to find your paperwork to make you send it home because they wanted a facility with no paperwork. So when we used to have the paperwork parties to check a dude paperwork to make sure he was straight, they wanted to make sure that didn't nobody have paperwork. You know what I mean? So couldn't nobody check nobody paperwork. But I used to be on dude's ass so tough on me. I had a P.O. box on the street, send it to the P.O. box, and I'm gonna have the homies go on the street, go get it and read it. Send your mama, send it to or your girl, send it to the P.O. box. My homie gonna go check it out and read it on the streets, and we never had to have the paperwork. So there's ways around it when you really on this shit. unfortunately, that while you on the street with all the technology you got, you can have some paperwork, homie, that looks so believable and so real. Me personally, if somebody slid me some paperwork at this moment, I would have to use a government database to corroborate and make sure all this shit is the same before I would press a line like that. If I don't have a dude saying FG, he read it on me, I know. Now, some dudes, I'm just going to take their word for it, Alex. You know what I mean? If you tell me such and such got on the stand on you, I'm going to believe you. You know what I mean? There's no reason for you to lie. There's no reason for you to make that up. And you putting your life on the line as well by even saying it, so, but nowadays, as we see, the rats outnumber everybody anyway. But when it comes to that child molesting shit, man, that's a whole different thing. That I believe a person with a child molester jacket, just to be honest with you, should get smashed on from all angles. You know what I mean? Because that's one thing I don't play about, man. That child molestation, homie. So to put a jacket on dude like that to try to mess up his career could be, like you say, he was gloating or this or that. It could be because he's from the north, or it just could be, he want to put dude out of business. I don't know, but if he knew it was fake, then that was foul. But if he didn't, I got him. I ain't mad at him for trying to expose a molester. You know what I
Well,
mean?
he didn't know the paperwork was fake, but I think the problem was he already didn't like Gil. So what it did was it prevented him from doing his due diligence and checking and going to, let's say, Megan's Law database. Like if
Right.
anyone tells me that such and such is a Chomo, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it up on Megan's Law database.
No
And
doubt.
if you skip that process, that means you don't really care. You ain't really checking,
No,
right?
no. No, no doubt. But at the same time, if you send me some information, Alex, about another podcaster, another YouTuber, another somebody of that nature, then I'm a triple check it. You know what I mean? Just based on, I know people like to see drama out here. I know they like to see, people arguing and going back and forth. And I'm definitely not with that shit. You know what I mean? I'm call a spade, but I'm definitely not into just trying to find something on another YouTube dude or a podcast or something like that, just to, for any kind of recognition. But so if you send me some information, if somebody would sent me some about Gil or sent me some about anybody, and they another and they own, YouTube or a podcast, and I'm a triple check, bro. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that this ain't a setup for me to jump out there, and start something with a dude with some false information because they doing what I'm doing or in the same lane or something of that nature. So, like you say, he could have did, more due diligence, you know what I mean? And, but at the same time he didn't. So, did he come back and, like you say, try to rectify the situation though? Did he call Gil personally? Did he get on the phone with him? Did he say my bad? Because in a situation like that, even if it was my enemy, homie, I got to apologize if I said something out there like that. That damn, what degree of, manning up did he take, in order to rectify? Do you know?
Yeah, I would say he bowed it all the way down, completely apologized. But I'm not concerned about the apology because that's an automatic. That's a no-brainer. I'm concerned about the lack of due diligence, the lack of checking it up, the lack of calling around. When a lot of people get paperwork in LA that know me, they get paperwork. They call me and hey, they say, "Yo, Alex, I know you know this court shit better than I do. I need you to check something for me." That's doing due diligence. This guy
Right, right.
this guy absolutely called no one. He just ran with it. And that's the problem that I have. And it's not just him. I'm not here to attack any one person. It's just the because of the prevalence of fake paperwork, there's a lack of checking it because he might be your enemy or you don't like his get down on YouTube. So it's easier for you to just smut his name on social media. And once you do that, most of this stuff is irreversible. I mean, he deleted his video, but guess what? This other YouTuber copied it and reacted to it, so it's still on the internet. And you do. I think you do a permanent type of damage, even though you apologized.